Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to Miss Keedy's Corner. I hope you are having a wonderful Wednesday. I just want to take a second to say thank you all for dressing up yesterday. I loved getting those pictures from your parents and caretakers of what you dressed up as. That truly brightened my day. So, for today's lesson, I figured we would talk a little bit about sketching and practice together on what really sketching is. We do sketching almost every day in first grade, right? We're always working on something that requires us to go ahead and interpret or draw how we see things or how we think of things in our head. And sketching is really a wonderful tool because it really helps our readers when they're reading our writing, or perhaps they're looking at a worksheet that we've done. Our sketches and our drawings help our reader understand our meaning or what we're trying to get across to them. So for today's lesson, we're going to be going over some tips and tricks and just some really basic things about sketching and how you can utilize sketching or use sketching in your daily life to go along with your writing and just to enjoy. And so I hope that you really enjoy today's lesson, and I will be back to discuss what you'll need if you would like to participate along with the video. Okay, so the materials that you're going to need if you'd like to practice along, just a piece of paper. I have mine on a clipboard because I don't have a desk in front of me, but you do not need the clipboard if you're working on a flat surface. And then also a pencil. And we're not going to use mechanical pencils because they have really fine, small tips. And so try to get a pencil. This is actually a sketching pencil, but try to get a pencil that has just a regular one that has a decent sized tip, because we're going to learn today, which I'm sure Mrs. Torgy has already spoken about and worked with you all on, but about sketching using different sides of the pencil. So those are the materials that you'll need for today's lesson if you'd like to participate along. So the first thing that I would like for us to talk about is the first thing that we do when we go to make our drawing or do our sketch. And the first thing that I like to do is, and don't get me wrong, I'm not an artist. I draw sometimes, but I am not a professional, right? So I'm just like you. I like to just doodle a little bit on my paper. So I'll go ahead and draw some light lines, then maybe press down a little bit harder on the pencil, and a little bit harder on the pencil after that. It might sound funny, but I need to get to know the pencil in a way. I need to know how hard I can press down on it to get what sort of line. So you can see, I'm just playing around with it. I'm just getting to know it, right? Anytime we learn something new, the first thing we always do is explore the new thing, right? Of course. So I'll usually just go ahead and make some lines. Maybe I'll do some circles here and there. What I always say to someone who's just starting out with sketching and wants to know and learn more about it is to use very light lines. So a lot of times when we draw, we might make very hard lines and just draw one single line, right? So when I drew that square, I did not pick up my pencil from the paper. But a lot of times when we sketch, when we're doing something that we want to look more realistic, we're going to do many, here, let me tilt this down a little bit, many fluid lines. So there's not just one line. We have a lot of different lines making up the square. What I also want to talk about is not erasing. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but my pencil, it doesn't have an eraser on the top of it. And that's because this is actually a sketching pencil, and it doesn't have an eraser because a lot of times artists, and I bet Miss Torgy would say this, is that we don't want to erase because everything we do is a work of art in its own way, right? So my square right here, it's not perfect. So you would call it imperfect, right? It's not perfect at all, but it's unique and it has its own personality to it, right? Everything we do has its own unique personality. And so when we erase things, it's just taking away from that. And I think everything that you all do is genuinely a work of art. So without an eraser on top of my pencil, I'm really always thinking about what I'm doing is adding to my picture in some way, and I don't want to erase it. I want to leave it there, and I want my viewer, my audience, whoever is going to be looking at my picture, I want them to see it. So now what I figured I would do is I'm going to choose an object, and I've chosen this candle. And I'm going to sketch it. And I want you all, I'll put my camera on a time lapse, which means that I will have my camera recording throughout the time that I'm sketching. And maybe I'll speed it up a little bit so it doesn't get too boring. And I'll add some music in the background for you. And you'll watch to see how I sketch this candle. I'm not going to use harsh lines. I'm going to be light on the pencil. And I'm going to try to make it look realistic. Now, because this candle is a 3D object, I'm going to utilize shading, which, let's add some shading. If we had, let's do a circle. And if it's 3D, a circle is a sphere, right? There's always shadows in everything in life, right? So we would add, to show that it's 3D, we'd add the shadow in. I would add darker towards the edges and lighter shading as it goes towards the middle of the sphere, my 3D object. I know during indoor recess, many of you love to draw, and so I'm really hoping that you're enjoying this video. And I also just want to take this time to say that I want to learn from you. You all are very, very talented, and I have many of your pictures hung up in my house, and I love them dearly. I want to learn from you as well. So if you have something that you would like to share, you can write a comment down below. Have your parent or guardian type it. Or if you would like to send an email to us teachers, we'd also love to receive that. So that is how I'd add shading and make a two-dimensional object appear three-dimensional. So I'm going to go ahead and put this video on a time lapse, and I'm going to attempt or try to sketch this candle. So my final product of what I ended up with for my sketch was this picture. I don't think that it looks exactly like the real life candle, but it's a sketch, right? So it's our interpretation or what we see it as. So I hope that you all enjoyed the sketching video, and I hope that in your future writing and also just in your art classes and in drawing and in daily life that you can use some of these tips and tricks on how we use our pencil lightly and we make not one line but many lines. I hope that you're all having a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode. Bye bye for now.